Hey everybody. How are you guys doing? Good. Awesome. Show of hands, how many of you guys are small business owners or entrepreneurs or anything like that? I hope you guys enjoy this. Well, my name is Kela Ivonye. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a founder. I love solving problems with tech, but one thing I found out is tech itself has a problem. There's lack of diversity, and it's very hard for people of color and minorities to navigate tech.
Come on, say it.
Well, I immigrated to America about 12 years ago, and I moved to Louisville six years ago. I love this city. Went to the University of Louisville. I dropped out of graduate school and started my first company, Arrow Food Couriers. One thing I noticed there was there's so much problems, and it's really hard for me to navigate it. Unfortunately, I had to shut that down and move on to my next startup. I started Mailhaven, which is a smart mailbox to receive packages for homeowners when you're not there. And during this time, I was able to take what I learned from Arrow My Food and navigate those hard obstacles that made it harder for me as a founder of Arrow My Food. Now everybody knows whose face this is. It's Mark Zuckerberg. Lots of us want to create something like what he's done, or lots of us just want to create things that impact our community. The big thing about that's a big challenge, right? You have an idea where you're like, hey, I want to do this, right? I'm really passionate about this, whether it's design or whether it's housing. I want to build this, so that's the first step. And then the next step is, hey, your next step is validate that it's something that people want, right? Am I building something that people are going to queue up, that people are going to talk to their friends about, and people are going to say, hey, we want this, we love what you're building, we're really passionate about that. Once you've solved that, the next part is the big problem. You have to build a team, right, and execute. But for that, you need to raise money. That is a very, very hard part for entrepreneurs, especially minority founders. There's a very disappropriate reach of money for minority founders, and it's usually really, really hard, and that's what I want to talk about today. So what the problem lies is about 1% of all funding go to Black founders. 87% of all funding go to non-minority founders. So what happens is you want to do something, but everyone who's been funded to successfully do that don't look like you, and you see no representation. And that's a big problem. One other thing that they say is before you raise money, you raise a friends and family round. You raise that round before you raise money from banks or or from institutions. But the thing is, not every one of us has family like this. Not all of us are born into rich families, right? It's a very false assumption of socioeconomic status. Most of our family look like this, are everyday working folks. Most of our family don't have $10,000 or $50,000 to give you to execute your plan, and then before you're attractive to a bank. And that's a very, very big problem. What that causes is a disconnect. I have an idea, I have a team that I can build it with, I have the passion to build it. I know that what I'm going to do is it's going to impact people's lives for the better, but I just can't connect that bridge. And the narrative that I'm being sold is, hey, I should have a friends and family, and if I don't have it, I can't move forward. Now this is Tristan Walker, he's the founder of Bevel. One thing they've said is, hey, why don't you create something that serves people like you? So he makes his company makes shaving powders and products for men's hair and beard. And he's been relatively successful at that. And this is Morgan DeBorn. She is the co-founder of Blavity. And it's a media outlet that makes content mostly for Black people and for minorities. And they've been fairly successful. But they were part of tech already. And so they were able to create something like that. And it doesn't just work like that for all of us. A lot of us are not in the Bay Area. Some of us are in the Midwest. But the good news is there's something we can do about it. We can make up for our friends and family round with other alternative routes. And that's what I found out with Mailhaven. I found out that you could go to competition, you can search out competitions and try to win that $50,000 that you're trying to get from your friends or family round. You do that through a competition. Another ways is they are minority pitch fests that happened. I think it's the Black NDA hosted something recently and had people as young as 15-year-old winning prize money for them to start up whatever they want to do. And that's one avenue where you can raise that money before you can raise institutional investment. When you do that, if you're able to win or participate in those kind of competition, what happens is you get a lot of PR. Louisville has been kind to us, and it's a really good place and tries to push out information like that. So when you get that PR, what happens is you get investors and you get people who are interested in what you're building. Another alternative is small business loans. You can check out the SBA, or you can go through crowdfunding. That worked for myself. I told my story of being an immigrant here, being a Black founder, and lots of people gravitated towards this and said, hey, we're going to help his crowdfunding and allow him to do what he wants to build. Now the future is built by technology, and technology dictates a lot of what our future is. There is no reason why our future should be disproportion. This should be built in a way where there is lack of diversity, where the technology is built with inherent biases because there is not equal representation of everyone. We should build technology where everyone has a say in what the next thing would be, whether it's self-driving cars, whether it's a phone that you can do whatever it is. We should all be able to do that. And so what I say is, we can all come, these obstacles, they're going to change, but we can find a way to navigate throughout those obstacles until we're strong enough to change them. My name is Kela Ivonye. If you'd like to talk about something like this, please send me an email. Thank you.